There's a rig parked in a private courtyard tonight. Almost nobody gets within 50 feet of its owner. Doesn't call it a motorhome. He calls it his second address. What folds out of its roof turned this build into a quiet obsession among the handful of people who build these for a living. Stay with me, the number that explains why this exists doesn't show up until the end. Start at the cab. Conventional Class 8 nose, blacked out grille, 5 amber marker lights along the roofline, except nothing behind it is working class. Above the cab, a raised module with glass doors opens onto the part everyone photographs. A rooftop deck with 2 lounge chairs, a round table, 2 wine glasses set out like company was expected. The body runs back gloss black with a gunmetal band, chamfered into a hexagonal front window. Lower down, the wall is faced in veined stone tile, not a wrap. Honed slab bordering a fold-down balcony with a stainless rail. Twin rear axles carry it. One honest note, gaps this tight mean a single scrape on tour costs an uncomfortable phone call. But what made people go quiet isn't the deck, it's what's behind that rear glass wall. And we'll get there. Underneath, a diesel inline 6 is reportedly tuned near 605 horsepower and close to 2,050 pound-feet of torque chassis numbers, not marketing ones, and gross weight is believed near 54,000 pounds. Air ride suspension settles it over broken pavement, though it reportedly takes a full lane and a half to turn, not built for tight valley lines. What makes it rare isn't the horsepower. Only 7 of these are understood to exist at this exact spec stone cladding, hydraulic module, deck 7, where builds like this usually run into the dozens. Cross the balcony, and the stone continues into the entry landing. Most builds fake that transition. This one didn't. Through the upper glass sits warm pendant lighting over a galley, leather bench seating, wrapping the lounge, a screen flush in the wall, never meant to be noticed. There's a sitting area, a sleeping loft, actually, forget the list. Looking at this, it feels less like a vehicle and more like a place built to stop being reachable. A room that happens to have wheels bolted underneath it. What most people miss. That upper module is pneumatically actuated, rising roughly 2 feet on its own struts before the deck unfolds, not bolted on afterward, engineered into the frame from day one. A hidden solar array reportedly feeds a battery bank in the 35 to 40 kilowatt-hour range, alongside water tanks sized for extended stretches off-grid. None of that explains the price. What explains it sits on the other side of that stone wall. Reports around the build put the cost north of what a Four Seasons private residence in Aspen runs fully furnished, except this one leaves the state before sunrise. That price doesn't buy a bigger camper. It buys the ability to disappear from your own life for a week without anyone tracking where you are. This isn't built for a family chasing campsites. It's built for someone who already owns the house and needed a way to vanish without checking in anywhere. If that's not the life you were picturing, this build was never talking to you. If it is, you already felt that a minute ago. Here's the reveal. What's behind that rear glass wall isn't a second bedroom, it's a private study lined with the build's own service records. Because when only 7 exist, the owner wanted proof he was looking at the real one. The verdict, end to end. This was never built to impress people watching from outside. It was built to remove the owner from being watched at all, a genuinely unsettling kind of privacy dressed up as luxury. Now that the 7th has shipped, word around the shop is an 8th has already been commissioned, unannounced, rarer than we thought, or barely rare at all. Tell me in the comments, would you want the only other one like it, or does that sound like the opposite of what this build was for? Next time, we step inside a build that hides nothing at all, and that one might be the more unnerving watch.